All right, our final topic in talking about westward expansion and how people moved west and how we gained land would be the gold rush, which started in 1849. In 1848, a guy named James Marshall, who was a carpenter, was sent to build a sawmill at a place called Sutter's Mill, close to San Francisco, and he discovered gold. Now, word spread pretty quickly, and the final secret word of the day is going to be Jimmy Carter. Shortly after gold was discovered, a young entrepreneur named Sam Brannon, he owned a store near there, went to San Francisco and bought up every iron pan in the city. Each of those pans cost 20 cents. He then ran through the streets of San Francisco yelling, "Gold, gold on the American River," and was able to sell his pans for $16 each. So quite a profit, and word spread. Now, the early miners who came to California tended to do well, but as more and more came, more people were making just enough to buy their supplies. And in fact, it was the store and business owners that tended to do better than the miners. But to see how many people were coming from not just the eastern part of the United States, but really all over the world, here are some numbers. Before the gold rush, there were about 14,000 non-native people living in California. By 1849, that number was over 100,000, so it grew really fast. And by 1860, there were 380,000. Mining reached its peak in about 1852. With this huge surge in population, California needed to become a state quickly. They needed a government to run things, especially because there were really no laws, and these miners were kind of doing whatever they wanted. They also had enough people at that point to apply for statehood. Now, the other effect was on the Native Americans living in California. Before the gold rush, there were 150,000 Native Americans in California. But Native Americans were attacked, they were pushed off their land, and they died from diseases that these newcomers brought. And by 1870, the population was down to 58,000. In the coming days, we're going to learn more about the effects that westward expansion had on Native Americans and on the United States as a whole.